Welcome to the Farmington Public Library. My name is Betty Decker and I'm a librarian here at the library, and this week our craft is embroidery. So you're going to come to the reference desk, grab a bag, and we have all different kinds, so you'll get different ones for everybody in the family if you'd like. You're going to grab a bag, take it home, watch this video, and we're going to teach you how to do a basic beginner's embroidery. So let's unpack our bag. Okay, now I've opened my bag and I've pulled everything out. So I have my hoop, my material, my instruction sheet, my thread, and my needles. So we're going to set the needles, the instructions, and the thread aside for a minute, and right now we're going to show you the hoop and the material. So the material already has the design on it for you. That's your outline and what you're going to use to put your thread through. The hoop is just that. It's used to keep your material tight, and it actually unscrews so that you have two pieces, an inner piece and an outer piece. And what you're going to do is you're going to take the material and put it over the top of the inner piece or the smaller piece, and then you're going to take the outer piece or the larger piece and put that right over it. Now right now it's not tight or anything, so if you have wrinkles you can pull on the material a little bit and get that stretched out, and then you're going to start tightening up your hoop. This way it becomes taut and you can pull if you need a little bit more tightness in your material. It's always better to have that material tight. It makes it a little bit easier when you're trying to push the needle through. So I'm going to get it as tight as I can. All right, so now we have that tight and ready for us to sew on. Now, with your instructions, your materials, and your needles, you can read through and start at any section you would like. I'm going to show you a few of the different stitches today. For this embroidery, you can see it's flowers, and you can see the diagram is on your material already. Now you have the thread that matches for this, but you don't have to do that. If you decide you want to make your flower green and all the leaves white, you can do that. That's acceptable. It's your project. Do whatever you need. On the back of this instruction sheet, you'll have some examples and instructions on the different types of stitching we'll do for this embroidery. Okay, so it's easy. You can see if you need extra instruction. So this embroidery, the center of the flowers is a French knot, and that's always a little hard to do in the beginning. It's probably your roughest step on this embroidery design, but there is a great video on the library's Creative Bud database that you can view, and it will explain French knot better in case you don't like the way I'm explaining it. It's great to watch. Now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do this little outline stitch for the stem of my flower. They call it an outline stitch, and you can see it's number 5 in my color, and they only want 2 strands. So this is number 5. It's already got a 5, so I'm going to take that out. Now, when you're working with the thread, it's best to work with a length that you feel comfortable with. You work in smaller lengths and it's better. Okay, so here we have one of the green strands, and I'm going to cut it to just about 18 inches. And then I'm going to set that to the side. And then you'll see that this thread comes with several different pieces in there. And I'm going to pull it to where I have 2 together. And it'll twirl up like that, and you just straighten it out. Keep pulling it out. And here's your 2. So it's a very light, thin embroidery on this one. We're going to thread our needle with it. And just fold it over a little bit. And then the other end we are going to knot. And it's just a simple knot. I double mine. If you have a different knot, that's acceptable to use too. And I'm going to snip off that extra thread. Okay, so we're knotted at one end and got a little bit over the top. And we're doing this stalk on this flower in an outline stitch, which translates to this stalk right here. So with the outline stitch, it may take a minute to find your starting place. You're going to come up. You're going to go down a little bit. Now once you get your needle through, you can see, pull it past where you have, and you can see that you have where you've come in at, where you've gone out at, and you're going to divide that space in half and come back up. Pull it tight, and then again, go back down a space, pull it past where you have the little edge, and then come back up. Sometimes that happens. Just keep pulling and rethread your needle. Now that you've got to the last thread, you will be knotting it. So we'll flip it over, run our needle through the thread and just tie a simple knot again. Do that twice just so it holds. Snip off the extra, and you can move to a different color. Or you can finish the leaves on this one, which is done in a satin stitch. What I'm going to do is actually to use the satin stitch for this flower bud right here and show you that. So that corresponds to this flower bud right here. It says it's a number 2, which is our pink, and it uses 2 strands as well. So let's get the needle ready for that. So now we have our thread, our 2 strands of our pink, and we'll do this flower bud here, which corresponds to this. Now the satin stitch is just a simple in and out stitch. The way they show it on the instructions is top to bottom or bottom to top. So some satin stitches, like the leaf here, you'll see are diagonal. This one's just a straight up and down. So we'll follow that up and down. You're going to come up and basically fill this whole flower bud with the color pink and go down. Just going up and down. And remember, when you do your last stitch, you do tie off. So we have our flower stem and our little flower bud. The outline stitch and the satin stitch are the two most used stitches in beginner embroidery guides. The other stitch I want to show you just for this one will be the French knot, which is your center of your flowers right here. And we'll do that. You'll see it looks similar like this. It's the center of each of the flowers. So we'll do this little blue flower with the yellow one right here. All right, now for the French knot, it does say number 9, which is, I'm sticking with our color, so number 9 is the yellow, the golden, but this time it says 4 strands instead of 2 strands, so it's going to be thicker. And it is a little bit harder to thread your needle, so if you have a needle threader, that's going to be an easy way to do it. If not, you may need to lick your finger just to help get that threaded. All right, now let's start on our French knot, and we're gonna do this little flower right here, and we're just gonna cover this circle area right in here. Okay, so with French knots, you're gonna come up, so you're gonna come up through and pull it all the way through. Now, then you're going to wrap your thread around the needle twice, just like that. And you're gonna pretty much go right back through the same hole. Now I want you to keep holding this side as you pull the needle through. Keep holding. You may need to move a little closer. And you pull it tight, and that's your French knot. You wanna, this one may take 3, maybe 4 French knots, so you just keep doing, come up, pull it tight, loop twice around your needle, and then go right back down through almost the same exact spot. Remember to hold this side tight and start pulling the thread back down until you've got it pulled tight. So yeah, probably 3, so 1 more. Up through, pull it all the way through. Loop your needle twice and then go back through pretty much the same hole again, holding your thread tight on this side and go all the way through. And there's your French knots. Now you have 3 more in these larger flowers that you'll need to do. So if you wanted to go ahead and use the string you have and head to maybe this flower is close, you could do that, or you can just tie off. I think I'll head to this flower and we'll put 1 in. Remember, loop twice. Watch it fall. And back through almost the same hole. Keep it tight. And I'll finish the French knots on this flower as well. So now, because I'm getting a little close, we'll just tie that off. And we'll do the center of the other flowers as we get to them. So here's the start of your beginning embroidery. We've done the outline stitch, the satin stitch, and the French knot. And those are the majority of the stitches on your pattern. Now that you've got those 3 stitches down, go and finish the rest of your embroidery project and have fun doing it.